Good morning, it's the morning of day 4. We're in our tents eating our breakfast. As it is rainy and cold outside. I slept quite well last night, apart from it was really quite cold, so I had to put my down jacket on as well. And also underneath my thermarest is a bit wet. I'm not sure if I had a leak or it was just intense condensation, so yeah. Looking forward to the day's hike. I think we're camping next to a cafe tonight, so going to get some food, maybe even be able to do some uploading. Hopefully we'll be able to take some videos on the trail, but I think there's low chance with this much rain.
Good morning. Welcome to day 4. What's today's it? I'm eating my malt loaf very quickly this morning, absolutely destroying it. It was a really chilly night last night. Windy, rained quite hard a couple of times. I was a little bit worried about the quality of the ground underneath my tent, but seems to have been all okay. It's actually, no, it is raining at the moment. We've got a decent day today, I think. I'm enjoying these malt loaves more and more each time I eat them. The first time I barely managed to finish it. This time I think I'm going to manage to destroy it, no worries.
Well, that was a cold, wet night, but I tell you what, my first glimpse of the day, the skies, the cloud doesn't look too dense. Sleep report then, Graham, how was it? Say again?
Not good.
Not good, what happened? Did you get wet?
No.
The rain. Which way does the path go, Finn? I don't know. We're hiking along, it's very wet. If I had told me how wet Scotland was, I wouldn't have believed me.
There's just no path.
Okay, so we just followed a little animal track up, stopping for a drink.
It was a sheer cliff and we just had to climb straight up it.
We were been wandering along this river basin. We camped somewhere way back down over there and made our way up this bit.
There was a hail. Thunderstorm.
We had intense hail. Now we just got to keep trekking up. Raincoats are coming off. First time in 3 days. Woo! Look at that. That's the most sun we've had like the whole time we've been in Scotland. Okay, we've just made it to the top. How are we feeling, guys?
Good. Yeah, the clouds have just kind of come in and it's gone from being sunny to dark, but there's no rain yet, which is good.
And how's the bodies?
Legs are a bit achy, but other than that, pretty good.
Super, Graham.
Awesome.
Really nice views of this loch. We are thundering along. It's just gone 12 o'clock. How are we feeling, guys?
Good. Glad there was a toilet.
Yeah, there was a toilet back there. There was a campsite, or there was a farm that was basically had a piece of grass next to it, but there was a toilet as well, which is fantastic, so we all made use of it. Luncheon.
We've got the Tuna Infusion by John Lester.
Yeah, but we're a little bit worried about the size of them, but after having actually held it in my hand, I think it's actually going to be a good meal. How is that nice infusion?
Really good.
Man, it started out such a brilliant day, so full of energy when we were coming up over that thing, bit of sunshine, we had our stuff off. What really was great walking this morning, but then it all just went downhill this afternoon when rain came in really hard. The cafe didn't exist / was closed because of COVID, and because of the rain I am cooking in my tent again. I was absolutely a drowned rat when I came into this tent, came in here, stripped down naked, got out my like ground sheet on the ground and just, oh, can you see my ground sheet? Yeah, got the ground sheet out and just took out all my clothes, just sat there shivering until I was dry enough to get into my down. So yeah, it's tough going, but we're soldiering on.
Hello, so it's the end of day 4 and it was quite a nice day until right at the end. It started absolutely yeeting it down. It's been going ever since. So we found this little spot, we're pitched up. I just had some dinner in my tent. The Cape Wrath Trail is so wet. We did bump into a farmer and he said that this has been a particularly rainy week, so here's hoping that that decreases. But generally it's just been really, really wet. I'm a bit worried about how wet everything is. My raincoat's wet on both sides now. My fleece that I'm in now is damp. My t-shirt for tomorrow is damp. My socks, like everything's damp, wet, and some of it's muddy as well. I'm a bit worried about like the long-term wetness of things. You know, this is only day 4. We've got 20 odd days. If things just keep getting wetter and wetter and we have a particularly cold night, it could get dodgy. So I think we need to aim for a bothy in the next couple of days to try and dry things out. But yeah, Spirit's pretty medium. Just trying to stay dry and listen to some Terry Pratchett. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning.
Okay, I just ate my noodles and I'm feeling like a tiny, tiny bit better. Well, welcome to day 5. I'm in my tent again, eating my breakfast because it rained all night. And I just don't mean like, oh, it rained most of the night. I mean, every single time I woke up, which was many times because I was quite uncomfortable last night, it was chucking it down with rain. So yeah, not a lot of good vibes there because everything I've got, well, all of my clothes are wet and I have to put them all on and go hiking in the rain. But the good news is we are going to a campsite tonight and there should definitely be a pub where we're going, so that is going to keep me going today. If it wasn't for that, I think we need to restructure our thinking here so that we go to a lot more bothies, because this sort of like 24 hours of rain is going to be really tough on me and Finn.
See me or hear me at all, but this is the river. We can't cross. We're actually stuck. We're having to go back to Kinloch Horn and catch some form of taxi. You know, it's got nuts, this river. Like, trees are underwater. You can hear this, but we're currently in a car because we went back to the buildings, but the buildings couldn't get us home because the river was flooded. So we've walked up like the road in for about 2 hours now, and this lovely man just offered to give us a lift up to his house. But then we were talking to him, and apparently the main road to Inverness is landslided, so we won't even be able to get the bus.
Hello again, it's Connor in the tent. This time it's only raining ever so slightly lightly. Yeah, how did we get here? What happened? Well, we woke up this morning and it had rained all night, like really heavy. Wait, did I say this morning? I don't remember anymore. Basically, it had rained loads last night and we set off, we all packed up. It was pretty miserable when we packed up. But we were all ready to push through. I think it was about 20k to get to Shill Bridge, and we were all looking forward to good times there. But we got up the mountain. Oh yeah, the first thing was our tent. It was hilarious. Basically, the river had risen about 2 feet overnight, and we were literally 6 inches off our tents being washed away, which was terrifying. So that was the first extra bad bit to the start. Then we hiked up the mountain, and pretty soon, after about 2 hours, we got to a massive torrential river that we were supposed to cross, but it was like full-on raging river, you know, deeper than Finn, full rapids, like it's probably too dangerous to even whitewater raft down it. Anyway, so we bailed on that, then we went the alternative route. The alternative route was supposed to be like, if the weather was too bad, to do the main route with the river being too big. So we did the alternative route. We backtracked about an hour, walked along the alternative route. The alternative route had a bridge across this river that we previously couldn't cross. But then about, I don't know, 25 minutes, half an hour into the alternative route, we hit another massive river crossing. This one wasn't as bad, like we still couldn't do it, but we thought that if we walked up for like half an hour or so up the river, we might be able to do the river, but we decided that like on the map there was like several more of these smaller river crossings, and we weren't going to be able to make it to Shill Bridge in time. So we turned around, hiked back into Kinloch Horn, where we then spoke to some locals. Well, actually they weren't local, anyway, they lived there, and they basically told us that the only way out was the road. There was a 23-mile road to somewhere, and they said they were trying to leave that day. They would have given us a lift, but because of all the flooding, like it's exceptionally bad flooding. It's not just like a little bit bad, really bad flooding. Because the flooding was so bad, the road was blocked and the cars couldn't drive through. So they said that they thought we'd be able to walk through it. So after they gave us a cup of tea, which we were very thankful for because we were like drowned rats at this point, we set off. Eventually, we hiked through the water. Took us, I think we were going for about 10k to try and get to something, or 10 miles to go to some buildings, basically, was like the goal. But then we hiked across the water, which was fine. Then somebody was driving somebody had driven to try and get to Kinloch Horn but couldn't make it or something, and we're not really sure, but he gave us a lift in the back of his truck, like about 7 miles along this 23-mile road. and then we basically hiked until sundown. It's rained the whole time. It just stopped for about 5 minutes just before camp, but like we've all deteriorated physically a bit. Like I've had a real problems with my knee today. I'm not really sure what's caused it. Finn was struggling with his back, carrying the heavier pack, but we were all very tired and pretty physically wet. Yeah, we're all wet through. But we've pitched up in what would probably be a beautiful location if we weren't also rainy and wet and worn out. We've pitched up again. I think with the forecasts and whatnot, we've probably going to bail on the hike at this point. The rivers were completely impassable, and there's many more like that between here and the Cape, so this might be the final video. Okay, so it is 7 o'clock in the morning. I got up 45 minutes ago, hiked up out of where we camped by the lock, back onto the road because I was being attacked by a swarm of midges eating me alive. Left the other two behind because Graham was a little slow on the packing. My knee's proper bad this morning. Just spoke to a local who was walking his dog who said it was 9 miles to Invergary. Hopefully we'll be able to hitch a lift some of the way or all of the way. We hit a bigger road in about half that distance, so hitching should be a little bit more probable. So we've made it to the bus station. This is the end of our journey.
Howdy.
Yeah, with all the rain, we think the river's going to be flooded and basically impassable.
This is the first sun we've had.
Yeah, this is the first sun we've had since arriving in Scotland. That's not quite true. But the first prolonged sun we've had since arriving in Scotland is happening right now, which is kind of nice. Had a very, very painful walk to get here this morning along the road. My knee's really been playing up. Tough going, but yeah, we made it. We're alive, and yeah, we came for the challenge and we found it.